Sometimes you came with the idea. Sometimes everybody else came with the idea, and you just sat back and said, this is pretty good. Like, let me see where this goes, right?
Last month, I was a guest on Emmy winner Derrick Main's The Convergence podcast. I've been so focused on our video game project that I'm only now getting around to posting the clips. Check it out.
Yes. Jerry Lee from Optimum College with me. We have literally been communicating via TikToks.
I had no idea what a boss you are. I saw the clips on TikTok. I think Plato actually had the right idea. Get together a group of colleagues, just spitball, brainstorm, have a think tank.
Because I love the fireside chat.
You can tell me I'm wrong. I want to be wrong because that means we have an opportunity to improve our models.
So I'm really intrigued by this whole idea of Optimum College. I've been on staff at universities, and many times they don't like me because I don't have a degree.
Right, credentialism.
They tried to recruit me to be an executive director of a college and had me out there and did the whole thing, and then said, "Well, we can't hire you because you don't have a degree."
Yeah, it's a guild.
You recruited
intellectual
me.
Class has become. Oh, you can't speak unless you have this degree. Steve Jobs didn't graduate from college. America's first scientist, Franklin, never graduated elementary school. I can make you I can make you an honorary optimist. I've done it for quite a few people.
Yo, I love that. I think there is a level of elitism and it's protectionism, right? Being a success proves that they didn't need to go the standard traditional way. Right here is transhumanism.
Upload,
it's going to happen.
All that stuff.
Yeah. Right now we hold it to our, isn't it funny? The distance between true transhumanism and what we have today is about a millimeter.
Well, here's a book, How the Mind Works by Steven Pinker. Great book.
Yeah, great book. Yeah.
And he describes the mind as a prediction engine. Same with Ray Kurzweil. That's how the mind works.
ChatGPT is doing exactly what we do. We just extrapolate on other people's ideas. Yeah. And what I think is interesting, and many times we don't give credit where it's due. I mentioned Abigail Thorne here earlier. A lot of my ideas recently are coming from Abigail Thorne. She's like, her idea came from this, and that idea came from that.
I got to give a shout out to Jolie artist.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with her. I think the way that you're responding to the world around you is evolutionary, and it's happened over the course of a few 100,000 years. And you have to step into the prefrontal cortex. You have to stop responding with your limbic brain. Change is constant now. And
it's
that
always. It's never going away. There's no end game. I talk about this a lot at Optimum College. The game will never end. You can't say, "Oh, finally, I'll get to this point and it'll all be over." No, it's going to keep going forever.
Gary,
change.
Today is the slowest that change will ever be into the future.
Yes.
Today's the slowest.
You're probably right. We are the knee in the curve. The tools available to us right now are so powerful. Like I said, we were the first to simulate the four forces of physics from one equation. And
tell me more about that too. When you get a chance, I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So how can we simulate the universe? Forget the blackboards, because that's what they were doing. Like, why is there this crisis in cosmology? Because they're stuck with all this bureaucracy and what we did in the past. Oh, we have chalk on a blackboard. Forget all that stuff. Start from first principles. We need a four-dimensional grid space. Then every point on this grid would have some kind of value to represent energy matter. Energy and matter are convertible. So fundamentally, all that really exists in the universe is this grid space, time, which is you could think of as the speed of causality, the calculation speed of the universe. C, the speed of light, speed of causality, and then this energy matter. So you can put a real number on every point of this grid to represent a snapshot in time. Now we can get into consciousness and how is our brain observing all this number universe, this mathematical quantifiable universe. That comes a little bit later down this whole chain of thought. Sure. But then, so once you've got this idea of, okay, the universe is fundamentally just a four-dimensional grid with number values at every point. And then how do these numbers interact with each other? Well, we know the universe is conservative. It conserves energy matter. Sure. But division, if you have one apple and you divide it into four, how many apples do you have? One, but it's in four parts. So these numbers are averaging with each other and then dividing by their local density, their space-time density. So it's the equation is conserving the sum total of energy matter. It turns out when you put a bunch of numbers in an Excel spreadsheet or any kind of grid space, and you let them average simultaneously and locally with each other, it emergently produces waveforms and simulated particles that attract, repulse, have Coulomb barriers.
It's real. Well, listen, there's a weird story out right now. I'm gonna say it's probably pseudoscience. There's a weird story about a DM researcher that is claiming that if you look at a red laser while using DM, you will literally just see numbers streaming. There's no color or anything. It just looks like there's numbers streaming across.
I think he probably did see that, but I think what's going on with DMT, it's just leveraging the dream state that we already have within us. The brain is such a powerful computer. I lucid dream. Have you ever lucid dreamed?
I have not, and I need to learn how to do it because people.
I made a video about how to do it.
I'm going to check it out for sure.
Yeah,
I will definitely do that.
And I like to experiment when I lucid dream. I go around, I pick things up, I touch things. The brain, this 5 pounds of jello that we call a brain, can produce photoreal, real-time simulations that are more powerful than a rack of supercomputers.
Yeah.
This goes to show how far we have to go before we start to touch what evolution has evolved for us. We got a ways to go.
We do, and I think this is why so many people are even starting to refer back to like the legend of Prometheus. Maybe there was some sort of outside force that helped us get here, because it does seem like a pretty quantum leap from single cell to.
Let me talk about that. Understood. And a cell is insanely complex. The interior of a cell is more complex than any machine we've ever made.
Yeah.
Just one single cell.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did at Optimum College is we took the first principles from this unified equation. What this equation showed us was that the fundamental particle interaction is attraction and repulsion. Okay, so let's make a more simplified, less compute-intensive simulation of just little particles that attract and repulse. And let's see what happens. They self-optimize into cell-like structures. They turn into little cells. They attract. It happens through a process of it's called emergent complexity. And some of them even reproduce. They divide into copies of themselves. Yeah.
So the natural resting state of math is cellular. I mean, is that a little bit of too much of a summary?
Yes, but the term cellular automaton comes from, I believe it was John von Neumann, who came up with this. I could be corrected on that. But the idea is cellular is it's comprised of cells, little squares. And it has to be that way because of our limitations of computation. No one has built an infinite computer, and to my understanding, we never will. So eventually it has to break down into little squares. So that is a cell. And then automata, which is the plural. Automaton is a single cellular automata. Yeah. Automata just means self-acting. Once you push play, it just starts to run on its own. It's mind melting.
It really is.
When you start thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah. So from an energy perspective, though, how do you get around that? And it's a conversation that I've had.
Zero energy. Because there's an equal amount of positive and negative energy. This is why it's so important.
I see. So it's fully balanced system.
Correct.
And I love that. I think AI is going to change this. I've said this a couple times recently. I want to be sitting around a campfire with a bunch of friends, philosophizing.
Get technology out of the way. See, I like this idea of technology gets out of the way. It becomes invisible. It allows just get out of the way. Get out of the way, technology. Give us the resource, time to spend with our friends and family